This Three Beards Media podcast may contain mature themes, and if you're not down with that, we got 3 words for you. Like the podcast. Nailed it!
Drop it.
Welcome back to another edition of the Ball Don't Lie podcast. I'm Ted Hawley here with my co-host Justin Smool. As always, we are in week 8 of the NFL season. We are presented by Three Beards Media and brought to you by Revelton Distilling Company. Smooly, how's it going, bud?
Good, man. Weeks moving along. Actually, I was just thinking about that during the intro. The season's flying along.
It's week 8 already, man.
College football's like we're almost into bowl season.
It's getting close. You're getting close to that make or break portion of the season for a lot of these teams with the an appetizer season, which is college football.
Right.
So it's getting interesting. I mean, look, Iowa had a weird one last week with
Wild.
It was wild. I mean, it was getting commented national on the wild with that call. And maybe even more surprising than that is we're talking about meaningful games for Iowa State at this point in the season. After the Ohio game, I don't think that was possible. Nick Farah keeps joking around with Jordan Walker that the birth for the Big 12 championship is going to be playing those games in Ames, which is half satire. But look, to be in the position to control your own destiny at this point is a little weird. No one's talking about that yet, but you start knocking off a couple more of these, and maybe we are.
Yeah, we'll talk about that game. I have that game on my card this week.
That doesn't shock me at all.
No.
A little recap of last week. It's more of the same for me. I had a horrible week. We had another loser, 2-3 in our Circa picks. Still above 500 there, but 2-5 week for me in college football. 12-21-1. We don't run for our records here, obviously. So, but like I said, you know how this goes with it. It tilts in that favor. It's time for me to get hot though. 5-2 week for you, which was phenomenal in college football.
Yeah, I'm having a great college year.
You're having a great college year. Up to put you at 25-19 in the college year. That's fantastic. 2-4 for me in a weird NFL week. Has me exactly at 500 in the NFL. It drops me down to that. Two bad weeks in a row for me in NFL. Had me right at 18-1 in the season, and a 3-3 for you. 23-18-1 on the year. Like I said, we're still a pick above 500 in our Circa, so just need to knock off a couple of good weeks in a row, and there's no time like the present to do that.
Absolutely. Definitely.
So with that, why don't we just kind of run straight into our college picks here, get our appetizer menu out there, and so we can get in the fun stuff.
You got it. Yeah. I'll start off here. I'm going to take let's see. I'm going to go with NC State plus 10 at home against Clemson. I had Miami last week in a winner over Clemson. And this time of year in college football, for those that tune in, I love looking at Dream Crushers. And to me, Clemson, that's the Dream Crusher last week. There's, the conference now, we've used to see them play for their hopes, right, or ACC title or nothing. And
I mean, it was NCAA title or nothing there for a while. And it kind of shifts a little bit to conference, and they're just.
And so I just don't know, like these kids, that's a hard pill to swallow right now. But the other teams like NC State, right, they still view Clemson as that upper echelon. These teams don't back down just because they're coming in off of loss. They don't care. But I really question where Clemson's heads are at, following that type of defeat as well in overtime. So
I mean, look, man, I'm with you on that. We talked about this for weeks now. Is that Nothing about Clemson is scary at all. I mean, they've had some inflated spreads this year, and we've been the right side of most of those. So I'll be cheering for you on that one.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to this. I've been talking about James Madison for a couple weeks now. They're actually going to be on ESPNU at 7:00. I've been the right side of them. They've been they got rated they're ranked 25th right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a weird deal for that. You're not supposed to happen. They're rated. No. So they're 21-point favorites at home versus Old Dominion. Old Dominion's covered a bunch of some weird spreads this year, and they've had some weird bounces. I'm actually taking Old Dominion against my James Madison team, but they'll be on ESPNU. It's a later kick. So if you're looking for some get-back stuff, I'll be taking plus 21 with Old Dominion against my boys.
I'm going to 100% follow this because there's one reason. I said this earlier. I don't even remember the team I took this year. Actually, no, I do. So, Wyoming beat him. I said, whenever a weird team gets ranked for the first week, just take the opposite side.
Yeah, well, and that's what it is. It's a team that's never been there. This is new stuff. They've just moved up in levels and stuff. Chris goes, James Madison's a sicko, but yeah, well, that's welcome to the show because it's usually a small special for that. But we'll live in this sicko range because getting too much. The chalk's tough, and you said that too. I mean, you're a conspiracy theorist guy, so you're always staying away from the chalk's a good move for you, especially the public. Yeah. But I'll be taking Old Dominion and going against my boys with James Madison, but they will be on national television if you want to watch them.
I will be on that. I like that play. I'm going to take Mississippi State plus 6.5 at Auburn. I had Mississippi State last week. They won in a thriller 7-3 over Arkansas.
I did see that. That was great. I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that before.
Horrible. But it was the same, honestly, the same logic that I applied last week from Arkansas. They were coming off a bunch of tough games. Clearly, they were worn down, right? They scored 3 points. I think the same applies here. Ole Miss has played some stellar competition here with Ole Miss and Georgia. They had someone in between that was ranked. LSU. Those are the last 3 games. I just think Mississippi State's playing hard. Auburn's in a tough spot. I'm gonna take the points at 6.5 here.
Okay, I'll be cheering for you there too. I'm going to go to maybe the game of the week. You could certainly argue it. I'm going to take Oregon at Utah.
Okay.
They're minus 6.5. Now, this makes me very nervous for a lot of reasons. I don't believe that it's like 24-27, somewhere in that range. Games in a row, Utah's won at home. I don't think they've lost at home since it was during the COVID season. So it's hard to even count that with no fans in the stands. With that said, though, dude, Oregon's good. I really like Oregon. I think they're a very, very good football team.
I agree.
And it took all Utah had to get through USC, and USC is not very good. That's the point of it. So for me on that, this is a plane of I think get snapped here. I think Oregon's a very good football team. I think they still have some college football playoffs in the back of their mind, and you got to go and take care of business here. I don't think there's any overlooking Utah by anything. They've established themselves in that conference, so I just think this is a kind of a come to Jesus meeting a little bit for Utah. I think for Utah, they're down. They're still a great program, well coached. I love Kyle Whittingham, but I just think this is a level of just this year it's a little different, and I think Oregon's going to give it to them.
Okay, I actually like that one. That one just missed for me. Well, I'm going to keep in those lines then, alluding to what you said about USC. I'm going to take Pittsburgh plus 20.5 against Notre Dame.
Okay.
Notre Dame's key win 2 weeks ago, right? At that present time, it looked really good over USC. Well, how good does it look present day? It doesn't look that good right now. No. I think the line's inflated because of that. Pittsburgh as well. I think they've been a weird team this year to kind of gauge and to grasp anyway, but we're seeing now a clearly inflated line. I mean, they were like a 7-point dog against Louisville and won outright. They've even been favored in games this year and lost.
They have been.
But the point is that we're getting 20.5 here. I don't know. That seems.
That's my reason for taking Old Dominion. There's just too many points, and there's some reasons out there. Give me all those points.
Okay.
I'll cheering for you on that.
Okay.
Well, keeping that line of thought process there too, back to USC. I'm actually going to take USC this week. They're minus 10.5. They probably shouldn't be favored by this much against anybody at Cal.
Yeah.
There is so much pressure this week from these boosters and donors with Lincoln Riley and all. Like, there is so much pressure to go out and get a win for the boosters this week, like never before. They need to get some heat off. Like, this is a point to where Lincoln needs to go try to win this by 3+ touchdowns.
Yeah.
And literally that's the reason why, because if they come in and have a close, scratched out game with Cal, the noise is going to be so loud. Like, Bill Plaskey was on the DP show, was blasting him about it too. Lincoln Riley needs to get some scuff off his back. And this is a game that if they can get their speed in the outside and score a bunch of points, I don't know if USC can do what they need to offensively. They're horrible defensively. I'm not saying that. Cal will score some points. Sure. But this is a game where USC needs to go out and put 40, 50 on the board. And I don't think Cal can score enough points to keep it on the spread to do that, even against USC's defense.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. My only concern, I hate Caleb Williams' body language.
It's not good.
The more this guy has like talked and opened up his mouth, the more I think he's hurting himself in the draft. And quite frankly, he doesn't look like he's a world beater anymore.
Well, it's a key situation where more games, like he goes down with an ankle injury 4 weeks ago, and he says, look, I'm going to sit out for the rest of the draft. He is still the golden god king forever, the best prospect since Andrew Luck. Yep. You're hearing all the rumblings now about it too. And I was like, look, this is a loaded class. It is. I mean,
it is.
Penix stock keeps rising. Drake May's still always been kind of right there. Caleb Williams is still going to be the number 1 pick on the board. It's just not this clear-cut, unquestionable pick that it was a month ago.
He has more bust written on him than he ever has.
And honest to God, maybe that's even the best thing for him personally, coming in to have some kind of chip there too, because there was way too much hanky-panky with just pumping him up to that level to where it's probably put it in his head to where it's at. But he will be the first pick. But look, you go to the wrong team like anybody. You go to Chicago, good luck. I don't care who you are. That's why I hope Drake May doesn't.
I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take him first. I truthfully wouldn't. I'd pass. I really would. I don't think he's worth it.
Well, look, if it's the Bears, they have the opportunity to roll back with Fields and do that. Or they can trade back and get something else and move on. Right. Well, they're going to have options there. So if you're a Bears fan, you're gonna have strategies to put in place, and it's interesting. So we'll see. All right, what else do you have for me?
Okay, well, we talked about it. Iowa State Baylor. I know
you're not taking Baylor.
No, I am.
You're taking Baylor.
I'm taking Baylor. +3. I hope I'm wrong. This is a spot. Matt Campbell has been horrible.
He's horrible in these spreads where he's a small favorite. He's horrible in them.
Horrible. He is atrocious. He honestly is probably, in terms of like, if you pulled 20 games, he's probably the worst coach in Division I.
They showed a stat on it not that long ago, and it was really, really, really bad.
Yeah, he's horrible. And I just feel like it seems this spot here, it's like, why is Iowa State favored? I mean, I know Baylor's nothing to like write home about, but I don't know, man. This is just like, people are starting to get excited. You're seeing the writing on the wall. There's a potential path, and then boom, it comes right at you.
Chris Shipley giving us some nice little information here.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
That's a great stat to add to your point there. He loses 70% of his games after a bye. That's a horrible stat. That is not a stat to write home about. Well, Andy Reid is the flip of that.
Yeah, I wonder though. To counter that, I would be curious to see when the bye happened. Like, but if it was
who do you play? I mean, in the Big 12, who do you play? I mean, you run into Oklahoma, you run into the Texas of the world.
Right. I want to know what the average spread was after their lot. Because I mean, if they were like dogs by like 12, then they should.
The stat I would like to see is, what is his record as a head coach as a favorite coming off the bye? That's a stat I would love to see. What is Matt Campbell's record as a head coach coming off a bye as a favorite? Because I bet it's not good.
Yeah. No, I would say it's probably
obviously if he's lost 70, it can't be good. If you've lost 70% of your games after bye, it can't be good. But it'd be intriguing to see what that number is. I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too.
But I get why you're saying it. Look, I would say it's kind of like the Atlanta Falcons too. They're a spot play and stuff. What's the line? You're going to win some games, you're going to lose some games. So I completely get the thought process.
Yep.
I'm going to go ugly. A team that I've been against forever too, so it's kind of weird. You're going against Iowa State, and I'm going for Nebraska here. This is too odd of characteristic picks for both of us too. I'm going to take Nebraska -2.5 at home versus Purdue. Right. We're Matt Rule guys. We said that a long time ago. I think it's going to take him a little bit. Look, it's going to take him a little bit of time. He took over a crappy team there. But I don't Purdue. They're still the change in the guard there a little bit. They're still kind of finding themselves too. And I just think at home, if you're going to give me this, I think this game is probably, I think this is a good line. It should probably be closer to 4 to 6, I think. I do think it's going to be a sweat. I just think that Nebraska's going to be able to play good enough defense and run the ball enough on Purdue to win this game by at least a field goal.
Okay. I can get behind that, actually. And to add a little bit to it, I mean, this Nebraska team is more than ever pumped to go make a bowl game.
Sure. I mean, you're 4-3. You're knocking on the door. But this is a game you got to go get to do that.
Right.
And it's at home. Like, give the fan base something to get excited about. This is actually a huge spot for Nebraska faithful this week.
It is,
because it really is. It puts you at 5-3, and you should be going. You're going to go bowling if you do this, but you need to get this. If you don't get this, you got maybe another spot. You're going to need to beat Iowa to go. If you get this game, I don't think it's going to come down to the Iowa game. But if they don't get this game, they're going to have to win the Iowa game to go to a bowl, I think.
Right. I'm going to take Cincinnati +7 at Oklahoma State. This just
missed for me, by the way.
Yeah, this just seems like a little off to me. I
Why
think
is Oklahoma State favored by 7 against anybody?
Correct, especially in the conference, right? Like this isn't the Okie State of old, right? We've talked about them before in previous episodes, and I know since he's like it seems like they're reeling, right? They've lost. I want to say they've lost 5 straight, but
look, this is a jump for Cincy. I know they've been good in the last couple of years, but it's a new coach. You're in a Power 5 conference now. You're not getting to roll out in that old conference anymore. So you gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps and come at it every week. But 7 points seems like a lot.
It does. I mean, Oklahoma State's last 3, they have 3 wins in a row, 3 covers in a row, all 3 in the underdog role. I mean, when I just see teams do that, you go in the underdog role and then you flip to all of a sudden now you're laying and plus they have Bedlam on deck. Oklahoma's in the rearview window here. I'll take Cincinnati in the points.
All right, I get that. I just missed for me. I have one play left, and this is I don't like playing these big spreads, but I've been doing it more than I haven't been lately. Ohio State -14.5 at Wisconsin. I don't think Wisconsin's any good. Okay. That is the bottom line. I don't think Ohio State's that good either. I was against them last week, and I was wrong. They put it on Penn State. I just do not think Wisconsin is any good. That is the whole point. I think Ohio State's going to score. Not that I do not think Wisconsin can score. You're in Wisconsin, aren't you?
Yeah. I
mean, are you on Wisconsin?
No.
Oh, no. I thought you gave me that look like you were going opposite.
No, I'm not. I do not. I would agree here. It's a matter of how much will be left for the Buckeyes after last week.
Sure. And I get that.
Yep. So,
that's it for me.
I'll definitely. I'm torn. I want to. Oh, it's so ugly. I don't know if I want to add it. I'm gonna pick one. I'm gonna leave the ugly one off. I got one more. Then I'm gonna take South Carolina +15.5 at Texas A&M.
Okay.
Had South Carolina last week. Loser. One of my 2 losers. A&M. I just think they know their season's done. They kind of just fell short again. So, I don't know. I mean, they're laying double digits here. They're off back-to-back losses. I don't see that angle for motivation here for A&M. So I will take the 15.5. I just feel like this is a ton of points for this team to be laying. So, and the one that just missed, I wanted to take Michigan State +7 at Minnesota.
That's an interesting one. I'm glad you stayed away from that though, because that's a tough play. That'd be a stay away from me, but I get your thought process on it.
Yeah, just off the first, I mean, they haven't beat Iowa in so long, right?
Sure. I mean, I'm not even sure they should have.
No.
All right. Well, I'll roll through this quick. I got 6 plays for Smule and 5 for me. I have Oregon -6.5, Nebraska -2.5, Ohio State -14.5, Old Dominion +21, and USC -10.5. And for Smule, I have 6 plays: NC State +10, Mississippi State +6 in the hook, Pitt +20 in the hook, Baylor +3, Cincinnati +7, and South Carolina +15.5. That'll do it for our college plays this week, our appetizer menu. I hope Smule misses his Baylor pick, and I hope he wins the rest. And so that's it for NCAA plays. Let's hear a word from our sponsors at Revelton, and then we'll get into our main course.
At Revelton Distilling Company, everyone has become a part of the Revelton family. From the tailors and their daughter who helped perfect their award-winning gins, to the team who installed Lucy, our 33-foot-tall custom-made still, right down to the local farms that provide our coveted corn, and even the cows on those farms who consume our mash byproduct. Want to see the farm to flask come to life? Now you can tour Lucy and find out where we take Iowa's harvest and transform it into our finest spirits. Choose between a 45-minute tour or find out even more by scheduling a VIP behind-the-scenes tour to get the taste of the full Revelton experience. You can visit them at 1400 West Clay Street in Osceola, Iowa, or find all of Revelton's award-winning spirits at any local grocery or spirits retailer.
Welcome back here to the Ball Don't Lie podcast. We are presented, as always, by Three Beards Media, and thanks again to our sponsors at Revelton Distilling Company. Again, time for the main course, Smule. Let's get it back on track here. Just kind of a subpar week. It's time to get some winners. Get back to that. Those 3 W's in our 5 plays. Back to those website weeks and our circle plays. I got 5 plays.
Okay. I have quite a few.
Why don't you kick us off?
I'm gonna try and trim it. First one, I'm gonna take the Packers plus 1.5. I don't like the Packers. I don't like this team. I think they're bad. I like the spot. Last week, the look ahead line, the Packers were laying 1.5. Now they're getting 1.5, and it's solely based upon results.
And it's weird. So it's all over the place too. This line is, and the Vikings they said a pick 'em in Circa.
Yeah. So I didn't, and I sent you those lines, and I forgot to I didn't look close attention to it. So
no, but it's so let's play this line at 1 because I'm seeing it at -1 for Minnesota on the other places too. It was at 1.5 this morning when I looked as well.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go against you here, and we'll play it at 1.
Okay.
We'll meet in the middle there, and I think I'm going to lose this. Everything about me and my being says I think the public's going to be crazy heavy on Minnesota too. They're coming off that great win. Green Bay's coming off that. Green Bay just put Savage today on IR too. I think they have like 9. I think Jordan Walker said they have 9 starters between both sides of the ball out. Everything screams that Minnesota should walk in here and beat the crap out of them, but why is that line there? It stinks. Yeah. I should stay away from it or go to your side, but I'm not. I'm going to take the bait and get my head in the garbage and play it anyway. So we're going to disagree here, but I don't feel good about it.
Okay, that's fine. All right, play 2 here. This is plug your nose. I'm just looking at Circa to see where they put it's 3. I'm taking the winless Carolina Panthers.
We are in complete agreement. They made my card too. I thought I was going to be the only one gross enough to go here on this.
Oh no,
it's a spot play.
Yes,
Houston's not that good to get to 4-3. Carolina is not going to 0-7. This is just a complete spot play. I'm playing Carolina money line on my own.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They're going to win this game.
Yeah, I like Carolina. I mean,
that's funny. I can't believe they're going to make our card again.
Oh yeah, they're off. Both these teams are off the bye week, right? And I would argue we've talked about this before, but like sometimes bye weeks are good for teams and other times bye weeks are bad for teams. And Texans had a lot of momentum going into the bye. Carolina did not. Well, here's the big change Carolina made this week. Frank Reich's not calling plays anymore. That is huge. I think that's massive for this offense. I think we'll see probably a significant upgrade in what they hope Bryce Young would be.
Sure.
So I think Carolina wins this game outright.
And as our producer Chris Spaghetti just said too, for Broncos reasons, we need the Panthers to start winning some games too for our draft pick coming up this spring. So, hey, Carolina is in the stinky one is going to be making our circuit card, obviously.
Yep.
But, dude, I'm in complete agreement with you on that game. Couldn't agree more.
Perfect.
Give me another one.
Okay. I'm going to take – I got to see it. Gosh, I should have looked at all these circle lines. They're so different. I'm going to take the Saints -1 at the Colts. It's a little bit extra time here. Saints lost on the Thursday game off of Jacksonville. And it's not that I think the Saints are great by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just fading the Colts. The Colts were in a goofy all-out effort against the Browns. That's a tough loss last week. But I think it's more desperate call here for the Saints. Like the Saints on paper to start the year, right? They were borderline a playoff team. No one thought the Colts were a playoff team. I just think this is the game. If the Saints have any hope, they go in
You
here.
have to get this one if you want any hope, because that division's putting one team in, and if
Right.
you have any hope to win that, you need to get it done. I agree with you.
Yeah. So they're desperate. I don't think anyone wants the Saints. I mean, they've only covered one game all season as well. So I'll take him here in what kind of feels like a game that most people don't care about.
I think you could easily convince me to put this in our circle play.
Okay.
Very, very, very easily. Back to the Browns game a little bit last week for a little how much of a cooler Ted was on and some bad breaks. I had the Browns in a pick land on 33 deal. So if you draw a team every week, and if that team lands on 33 points scored, you win $500. So I had the Browns. I also had the Browns -1.5 in the last leg of my parlay. So you're on 4th and goal from the 1 yard line with 10 seconds left in the game, whatever there is, and the score is 33-38. So I'm like, all right, what's going to happen is they're going to score. They're going to go for 2 and miss a 2-point conversion. So I lose the $500 for laying on 33, and I lose all my parlays. I didn't even need to watch the game. That's exactly what was going to happen. Played out perfectly. Ted loses it all. So that was fantastic. The Browns are on my shit list now.
Right. Oh, that sucks.
To play off your thing though here about the division and why the Saints need to win too. This is because I think Atlanta's going to get another win this week. I'm going to take Atlanta -3 at Tennessee. Tennessee is planning on playing both quarterbacks this week. Will Levis is going to get his first start. They're starting to unload, like getting rid of Kevin Byard. He's a stud. They're starting to. Derrick Henry is definitely on the block. So if they have any of these guys that are close or wanting to trade to get rid of, like you do not be shocked if you see Derrick Henry get like a 10 to 20% snap share if he's still on the roster this week. If you're a Spears owner in fantasy, this is the week I would play him too. There's a bunch of buys out there too. If you need to play somebody, play Spears, because the Titans are sellers. They've said it. They've come. Their GM has come out and said it. We're gonna get younger, start taking pieces and getting these people. So it's a spot play again. I just think Tennessee is getting too many young people in. Atlanta, they're a spot play every week. This goes back to the beginning of the season when I happen to win my division. These are the kind of games they're going to get for me. So I'm taking Atlanta -3.
Okay. I got the Commanders +6.5 at home against the Eagles. No one wants this game, but this is a revenge angle. I love division revenge angles. Commanders, people forget what 2-3 weeks ago. I mean, they should have won outright. I don't.
They should have.
They scored with 1 second left, and why you don't go for 2 on the road is beyond me. It's so stupid. You always do that.
We said it real time. Like if you're playing for overtime, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, you are. So they should have tried and do it there. I mean, I think they're out for blood. Plus, Eagles are. That's a big Sunday night win. I mean, geez, you want to see conspiracy theory, man. Those calls on Sunday night, there were some games.
They had no penalties in the game. Zero.
Yeah, they're just perfect.
Zero.
All the way around. Right.
They did get a ball don't lie moment on them on that 4th down no call, and the next play was a pick 6. That was the ultimate definition of ball don't lie.
Sure. Yeah, it was. You're right. I don't know. I think Commander's a little bit desperate. Home division dog.
Rivera's desperate. I mean, his job is this season can go one of 2 ways for him, and he needs to start picking off some of these.
I think he's done regardless, but
you could be right.
Yeah,
it might take a playoff berth to save his job.
Yeah, probably does. But I'll take the 6.5 here. It just feels like too much.
I'll cheer for you. I'm gonna stay away from this one though.
Okay.
I have 2 plays left here. This is a tricky one for me because everybody's starting to fall in love with the Steelers a little bit, and you're seeing that in the lines. The last 5 weeks, the Jags have done what they need to do. They're starting to form into this what everybody expects them to be. I know you didn't, but they're sneaky, playing very good on the defensive side of the ball, where they not start out the year doing that. They can run the ball. ETN is a real dude.
Yep.
I just think this is a spot too. The Steelers are 4-2 right now. I don't see them going to 5-2. They're just not that good to me. They're going to be around that 9-8 like they always are. So I think this is just a game that the Jags go and get. The Steelers going to come back from that division a little bit. So I'm going to take the Jags on the road at -2.5 and another trap line. And I see that. I'm not an idiot. Another trap line. But I'm going to take the Jags.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to make of either teams. I think probably Pittsburgh's I think both are a little overrated. So that's probably why I'm just cautious of the game in general. So I definitely don't think the Steelers, I agree with you, are as good as their record indicates, but I don't think the Jags are as good as they are either.
right.
I'm going to take the Jets -3 against the Giants. I had the Giants last week, winner, but the Jets are just so much better on both sides here, and the defense is back. They had their top 2 corners out the week prior. They're off the bye, coming off that Philly win. Had to motivate this team a ton going into that bye week. Still thinking they have, if Aaron Rodgers does make this miraculous comeback, and somehow the Jets get to 4-3, there's some serious light here at the end of the tunnel.
No, there is.
If they win this game, geez, we're talking wild card berth, and it can get crazy. But the Giants, I just feel like are a little bit in over their head, right? People forget they share this. Yes, this goes to Giants season ticket holders, but they share the stadium, right? There will be Jets fans here also.
Oh yeah.
So
and. Look, the Giants are horrible against the run. I think they're like 31st. Breece Hall might have 200 yards rushing. I said this when they played the Broncos too. This is the defense that gives up those pop backs like him that can bust it long. Like he's gonna bust a run over 30 yards in this game.
Okay, yeah. I like that.
So I should see what his total is for this game, but I'll probably be taking the over if it's in that 60 to 70 range. I'll definitely be hammering the over on rushing yards for him. Look. I probably lean the other way on that play.
Okay.
Just because I don't love the Jets I love them in the underdog role right now.
I get that.
But your reasonings are all completely correct. They're a way better football team across the board. Yeah. So let me sizzle on this one for a day, and maybe this can sneak in there too. But my initial reaction is to go the other way on this.
Okay, that's all right.
I have one play left in my card.
Okay.
And
I have a feeling where you're going.
No, I bet it's not actually, because you don't play these games. Miami is beat up. No, there's a lot of people not playing, whatever. The Patriots are coming off this huge, great win. They're all back. Bill Belichick's going to get this team back in the playoffs now. Miami's lost their stuff, and they're going to sneak another win. Why is this line 9.5? I'm taking the Dolphins. I think they're going to boat race the Patriots. Really? I think the Bills have some serious problems right now. I do. By the way, I'm taking the Bills in Survivor tonight, though. This is a must win for them. I hate them with this. They're not. I don't think they're going to cover 9.5, but I do think they're going to win. The Bills have serious problems defensively.
They do.
The Dolphins, I think they're just too fast for New England's defense. Even with the guys that are playing, look, I get it. Mostert's banged up too, so is Tyreek. They both were full participants today. I think they're going to get out to way too big a lead here to start the game. And I just hope I don't get backdoored in this because it's a lot of points, but I'm going to take Miami.
Okay.
In the points.
No, I get it. So the Patriots to me after last week are maybe one of the hardest teams to, I would say, handicap.
I don't think they're any good, but handicap them is very tough.
Yeah, because my thought was I looked into this game and I was like, man, I was trying to make a case for the Patriots because I like those big dogs. And I'm like, man, I don't know. Or my other thought was maybe Belichick can still just coach against the teams in the division.
And there's something to that.
Maybe that's the angle that he does. But I think it might have been just fool's gold last week. Conspiracy theorists, they pick up the linemen's 100 yards downfield. They pick the flag up. The game's over. The Bills would have actually, and I don't like Allen, and I don't like the Bills. That game's, but they want, how does that, it doesn't make any sense.
They got Bill his 300th win, though. They need to get him home on that.
They did.
Against the Bills in a big spot.
These refs had so much influence on these games last weekend. It was insane to me to watch. I'll text you on the side. There's this ref to watch. I think he's criminal. What he's getting away with. No one's talking about it, but it drives me nuts. And that stuff, I can't stand it. But Yeah, I don't know what to think. The Dolphins do have a big look ahead with Kansas City and Germany next week. That's
Yeah.
probably a little concerning for me, but outside of that, I don't know what to make of this New England team. So it's just
It's a horses thing for me, and I just do not think New England has the horses to do that 2 weeks in a row. That's where
sure.
I'm at on it. I think they can be a spot play on some stuff too. I do not see them being able, as a team this year, that can put that together back-to-back weeks. I think they're a 6-7 win football team.
Yeah. I got one left here, and it is going to be the Chargers -8.5 against the Bears. I normally don't like these lines.
So you were close. I was in your neighborhood, and you did think I was on the same side as you.
Yeah. Look, the Bears embarrassed my Raiders last week, and I hope
you got some problems in Vegas.
Oh well, they've had it. It's just now.
Those playoff talks that were happening a week ago need to be completely done. There's a chance you get first.
That was
There's a
just
chance you don't win again.
Yeah, there's that. Well, we're favored next week over the Giants. So
give me the Giants. If they're favored next week, give me the Giants.
Yeah, they're favored by 3. I would agree. They're horrible in that role. But yeah, no, I don't think they were any good anyway to begin with. So, but that being said, Monday, the whole world's on the Lions Monday night. Be careful. But with this game, this team here, the Bear, like, go prove it on the road. Like you beat a bad football team in the Raiders, right? Like with the feel good story and everything with Badgett, like that's great. I don't buy it. And also, if there's ever a time for the Chargers that are talk about maybe the most desperate team in the NFL right now, it's probably them based upon preseason expectations.
Man, that's where we were at last week with them.
I would agree.
I think that it was desperate right there last week. This is an absolute must come out and win.
Yeah.
First of all, but this
is my favorite teaser. For teaser players, my favorite teaser of the week.
I get that. I can get that. I think they're going to win too. The lines here. The Chargers just might not be very good. I mean, look, it's past the time. Staley cannot.
Oh, he's gone.
He's so gone. Does he make the whole season or not? He's gone. Because I don't think they're making the playoffs anymore. There's not as much room for error in the AFC to get in the dance like there is in the NFC.
No.
Like the Vikings, that's why I like the Vikings too, is that they're trying to prove that they can put a good enough roster together to be able to keep Justin Jefferson in place. He doesn't have his contract yet. He might just say F this and leave.
Sure.
It'll be interesting to see where Derrick Henry ends up. I'll cheer for the Chargers. I love the Chargers playing teasers. I think they're going to win the game. I do love the teaser play. So
I think the Bears defense is absolutely atrocious. I think Herbert's going to have a monster.
If you're a daily fantasy player too, and I was on it last week, and I picked him up in, I don't know, 4 of my leagues because he was still available on the waiver wires about 2 or 3 weeks ago after the Mike Williams injury. Josh Palmer is a sneaky. It's not Johnson. The rookie is not going to be the number 2 guy. It is Palmer. Herbert trusts him. He goes to him. And Palmer made a really dumb cut at the 4-yard line. He could have walked in the end zone on a long bomb and scored there, which sucked. But if you're a daily fantasy player, you can get pretty good value for Palmer. So check that out.
There you go.
All right. Well, I got you for 6 plays, bud. I got myself for 5. I think we only agreed on 1 play this week. That's good because we've been agreeing too much on the circle lately. So maybe this is our week to get a little bounce back play. And we'll sit here and hash it out for the next 24 hours on who the hell we're going to pick. That's always the most fun part to do.
It is.
I'll run through them here quick. I have Minnesota -1, Jacksonville -2 in the hook, Carolina +3, Atlanta -3, and Miami -9.5. We got 6 plays for Small. Green Bay +1, Carolina +3, the Saints -1, the Commanders +6.5, the Jets -3, and the Chargers -8.5. So there's our plays for this week. I'm hoping to get back on the right track with our circle plays, get back in that mix like we were a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Other than that, you got much more to add, bud?
No, man. Don't. Just like season's flying by like it always does.
Season's flying by like it always does. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
All right, we'll leave it there and check our Twitter handle as always for our circle plays. We'll get those out before the week starts. Otherwise, as always, thanks to Chris, our producer in the background. Thanks to our our people at Three Beards Media and our sponsors at Revelton Distilling Company. As always, I'm Ted. He's Small. Cash that ticket.